got done. But I am having fun. You know, I listen. We have some wonderful candidates running from the Democratic side for the presidential nomination. People that I like very much and respect very much. But I do listen sometimes to what people say, and the suggestion that if we sit at a table with drug companies, oil companies, insurance companies, and negotiate, they will voluntarily give their power away. I think it is a fantasy. It is a complete... We need to be honest with ourselves. We have an epic fight in front of us. We do. Not with politicians. Sometimes people misunderstand what I'm saying. Not with politicians. It's the responsibility of the president to work with the Congress. I will do that. But we have an epic fight with these entrenched, powerful, moneyed interests that stand between you and the America that you deserve. That stand between you and a democracy that works for everybody. And we better be ready. We better be ready for that battle. And you better be ready to send somebody into the arena that has what it takes inside for this fight. In the great tradition of Teddy Roosevelt, Franklin Roosevelt, Harry Truman, American presidents. I still remember the famous Harry Truman line, you know, you're giving them hell, Harry? And he said, no, I'm just telling the truth, and it feels like hell. That's exactly right. Because we're going to tell the truth. We're going to speak the truth about what's happening, and we're going to speak up for all those Americans who deserve a voice and deserve to be heard. And I was thinking earlier today, you know, about where I grew up. And I did grow up in mill towns and mill villages, some rough neighborhoods. I suspect some of you did too. And I remember you had to fight to survive. And I remember when I was very young, maybe 4 or 5 years old, I got into a fight and got my butt kicked. And I came home all bloodied up, and my father sat me down and he said, son, I don't ever want to see you start a fight. I don't want to hear that you started a fight. But I want you to listen to me and listen to me carefully. You never, ever walk away from a fight. And tomorrow, I want you to go find that kid and kick his butt. And what I have been doing in those days, I was fighting for myself, just trying to survive. But later on, I spent 20 years in courtrooms in exactly the same battles. On behalf, just picture in your head, on behalf of representing a child or a family, we'd walk into the courtroom and there'd be all the army of corporate lawyers on the other side with all the money in the world arrayed behind them. And I learned from that experience that if you're tough enough, if you're smart enough, and you've got the guts, you've got what it takes inside for the fight, you can win those fights, because we won over and over and over. And that we have an epic fight in front of us. We do. And we can fool ourselves and think we can go nice them to death and it'll all take care of itself, or we can be honest. And this fight is for our children's future. This fight infiltrates everything that we're trying to do. How can there be a greater moral issue than whether we're going to preserve the planet for our children and for future generations? There is no greater moral issue. So it's not that we don't know what needs to be done. We do. We know exactly what needs to be done. We just need a leader, a president, and you joining forces to bring about this change and being willing to fight for that change. Because without the fight, it will never, ever happen. And I'll tell you this, and then I'm going to take your questions. I'll tell you this. If we do this together, if we go after these folks together, then we can bring the change that this country needs. And what we will do in the process is we'll make absolutely certain that we can look our children in the eye and say, you're going to have a better life than we had. And we left America and we left the world better than we found it. Thank you all very much for coming. I'll be glad to thank you.